And what you're about to see, or what you are seeing, is exactly what we were looking for. Cheetah. So the luck has changed, it seems, for me on my interview drive. From gorilla missing her to finding these two beautiful guys. And what an amazing sighting. All right. Billy from Oklahoma, you're asking that question regarding the strength of the cats, as in they don't look as strong as leopards, and you are 100% correct. Cheetahs are not adapted or designed for muscle. They are designed for speed, agility, and basically most of the times they target small prey, smallish prey, such as gazelle, which you'll find in East Africa or in this area. You'll find impala, which is the common species for them, and then you'd also look at steenbok and duiker at times. But yes, they're not as strong. As I mentioned, these guys, as you see, they've got very slick and long bodies, elongated bodies. They're much longer, they are quite longer than leopards. A little bit taller as well than what you'd find with female leopards. Some of your big male leopards can compete size-wise with a female cheetah, possibly a youngster one, but these are two big males at the moment. Remember, it's very important that you keep in mind that cheetah are built and adapted for speed. They're the fastest land-living mammal on Earth, reaching speeds up to about 60-65 miles per hour. Can be, in kilometers, is about 100-110 kilometers per hour, which is extremely fast, if you can imagine. And they will keep that speed only for a few seconds. And then by the time, if they get lucky on the kill, then it's energy spent well worth. But otherwise, if they miss, then it's recovery time period, and it takes them several minutes to recover because the amount of energy they spend on building up that power is amazing. Hi Dave, thank you for your, again, good question. What is the largest prey they can catch? These are two males, and males can hunt together at times. It's a coalition, probably brothers, well, definitely brothers, and they, as I mentioned earlier, they are a little bit larger than females, and they can bring down, we've seen it before, wildebeests, juveniles to almost, or sub-adults to almost adults. And the wildebeest is the ones we saw previously on our segment. So those two at the back there that we saw, which is quite far off though, that would be perfect for these guys to bring down. Other animals, other prey, such as kudu, we've seen as well in areas that lack small prey. Small prey such as impala, or they've got low density of impala or springbok. We've seen them also catching young kudus. And I don't know, I'm not sure if Byron or Tristan has seen kudu, but kudu is the second largest antelope in southern Africa. And yeah, we've seen them several times in Namibia doing that, bringing down juvenile kudus. We will definitely want to stay with these two boys for some time. It is a sighting you don't really see often. So if you are ever coming on safari in Africa, and you do manage to see them, my advice would be stay as long as possible. It's just absolutely amazing. And as I said earlier, quite a rare sighting. it's quite fitting, as this area is known as Cheetah Plains around us. Cheetah, generally speaking, like the open areas, similar to, as I've mentioned previously about wildebeest, because, again, for the hunting, they can't reach that speed of 110 kilometers per hour or 60 miles per hour in thick bushes. It's just going to make them not be able to turn as well, and therefore cause some issues and decrease their hunting capabilities. Stevie from Los Angeles, why do cheetah hunt during the day? You guys are throwing out some amazing questions right now. I love it. Well, cheetahs are diurnal, which means they're mostly active during the daytime. Now, remember, these cheetahs, they are living with spotted hyenas around them, they're living with lions around them, and they're living with leopards around them and wild dogs. So the carnivore density is quite high. So therefore, your lions and your leopards and hyena are more active during the evenings. So therefore, if cheetah were also active, it was previously mentioned that they are not so strong. So if they did kill, they would definitely lose most of their kills, because lions would be hearing the impala or whatever, calling out in distress. So therefore, it's an adaptation, sort of eases things out a little bit. Secondly is also the eyes is adapted for a daytime, where most predators' eyes are adapted for night living. The rods and cones in the eyes is completely different. And you'll note with this guy sleeping closest to us, Dave can try and get it on his head. You'll see the tear marks, the black tear marks running down from the eye downwards to the mouth. Scientists believe that the black tear marks is to attract as much light as possible. So obviously it improves your vision, your eyesight. Okay. Lastly, what I would say is I think it will be quite difficult to get up to those speeds during nighttime. There's a lot of things that you have to look out for while you're hunting, especially making quick decisions, such as aardvark holes in the ground, rocks, stones. So these guys need to make sure that they know exactly what they're doing. And therefore, daytime is just so much easier for them. I'm going to ask Dave to quickly look into the face. Robin, and you're watching with your grandson, I believe. That's amazing. Welcome to the show. I trust you've been thoroughly enjoying it. Cheetahs hunt, you're asking if they can hunt during nighttime, and your answer, or your question again, is fantastic. Yes, they can. They would prefer full moons when the light is the brightest for them to be able to adapt. But yes, it's not that common, but we have seen them as well, just by years being in the bush, that these guys can hunt at nighttime. But again, my honest opinion is you would only really find that during full moon times. Okay. Now I was asking Dave earlier to try and zoom in onto the face. And the face, as soon as one of these guys turn around their faces, I'll tell you a little bit more about them, because it's amazing to see how you can do research on cheetahs without even sometimes putting a GPS collar on them. All right. But I believe Tristan's got some interesting little creature waiting for you. So we're going to cut to Tristan before we come back to our segment.
When you start talking, I'll know.
Welcome back, folks, to the Cheetah Boys. The wind has picked up slightly, and it's quite nice, the weather at the moment. Its temperature has actually quite dropped a bit. Dave, the cameraman, feels a bit different, but I feel it's quite enjoyable now. It's bearable, should I rather say. And this is the best temperature for these guys. They're going to be relaxing. Oh, as you can see, stretching a little bit, getting ready, as there's another vehicle approaching from one of the lodges. So he just probably wants to see and show those guests a good time as well. Remember, if you've got any questions for me about cheetah, feel free to send a tweet, hashtag Safari Live, and we can have a discussion about these two remarkable boys. Tristan mentioned briefly that he has seen these guys previously hunt kudu, as we spoke about it earlier, and yeah, it just backs up again, you know, with the big males, generally speaking, they can take down a larger prey. So you can see this guy is, he wants to sleep, but he's not sure if he can drop his head yet. He's like, I don't know. And it must be so annoying for them with the flies constantly focusing around their ear. Eric, welcome and thank you for your question. How long is a cheetah's tail? Generally speaking, it can be almost the whole body size of a cheetah. The length from the hips to just before the head. And the reason why it's so long is because cheetahs rely heavily on their tails as a rudder. You know, in boats, you use a rudder to give you direction, and it's exactly the same with cheetah. When they are running so fast, at speed of 60 miles per hour, their tail determines which direction they will be going. Now, as you see the base there, the base where the tail begins, it is extremely, extremely tough. They've got a lot of muscles there, and that is basically the cockpit that sends out signals to the tip of where to exactly go, how fast to turn. As you know, prey, they don't give up easily either, so they'll be zigging and zagging all over the place, trying to avoid themselves being caught, and that's why these guys have such long tails. He's going for a nice morning snooze. I'm sure he's had an eventful evening, or both of them, possibly listening to other lions in the area, hyenas, so they had to be fully awake, most likely, checking around, making sure that nothing creeps up on them. Safari Dean asked a question of what do the scent mark of a cheetah smell like? That is an interesting question. It's very potent. It's I can't really try and compare it to something, but it's a great question you're asking there. Cheetah's scent mark, they have specific trees in the wild where they always return to every few days or few weeks, depending on the area. Remember, they don't have territories; they've got home ranges. So once they get into that specific home range, they'll always go to the scent mark tree, and then lay a fresh layer of scent on it. And that's also how, just for interest sake, how a lot of researchers can try and catch cheetah to collar them that's in the wild. You remember, cheetahs in specific other areas are not as relaxed as what we are seeing at this present time. And therefore, catching them can be very, very, very tricky. And I've seen a lot of my friends who are researchers, they're getting grey hairs trying to get these guys in traps. So what they've done is they would set up a cage, a box trap, which is safe, obviously, it's protected, because sometimes you'll see when an animal goes into these traps, they can hurt themselves due to the fact that they're trying to escape. But then they also set up a remote trigger camera, which allows them to pick up any information when a cheetah is in the cage. That'll send a signal to the cell phone, which means they can quickly respond. But these traps are normally set at the scent mark trees, and once the cheetah goes inside, they've got remote trigger camera traps, sets it off, and the researchers can move to the area as soon as possible, dart the animal in a safe environment, put a collar on, and then collect amazing data on these guys. Not sure if you are aware of the fact, but cheetahs are also quite endangered due to the fact that, well, they're competing with so many other predators. It's one of the biggest problems these guys have faced over the years. You know, other predators keeping their numbers low, and obviously conflict with humans in areas where the cheetahs are allowed to roam free makes it very, very, very difficult for a cheetah to say no to specific sheep or farmers. Farmland, sorry, not farmers itself. And I've just received information from the head office that John was asking this question. Do they retract their claws? And actually they don't. When they are young, basically when they're born till about 6 to 9 months of age, they have semi-retractable claws, because remember, they're not really hunting, so they don't need it. But once they get to that sub-adult to adulthood, it eventually changes and their claws stay out permanently. So it's like a 100-meter athlete running constantly or walking constantly with spikes on his feet. And you can also see how it's not sharp anymore, and therefore it's an indication that should show you that cheetah don't rely as much on those claws to bring down prey. That's more for grip. Just above, almost at the elbows of their front legs, if you can try and get that, there's what you call, just below the elbow, there's dew claws in the front, eh? Sorry, Dave. Just, there we go, a little bit. There's a dew claw somewhere around there, and that's always kept sharp. And the dew claw is just one that comes on the outside, basically it's on the inside of the paw if you're standing straight, and they use the dew claw to bring down prey most of the times. I wanted to quickly show you the facial structures. I was trying to discuss with you guys earlier, and if you look at the face over here, the spot configuration on a cheetah's just below the eye. Now you see the tear mark that goes along the nose, that straight black line, but then on the other side of the corner you have the spot configuration going downwards, all right? And then just below that, it's almost like it looks like stripes, but if you take your binoculars, you'll see it's a few spots and then 1 or 2 blotches. Out of interest sakes, that's how they used to identify, and even now still identify cheetah that are not collared or tagged, as each cheetah has its own spot configuration. So years and years and years ago, before the technology evolved, researchers used to take their binoculars and a pen and paper and then start drawing that exact spot configuration, and then go put that in a file, and every time they would find a cheetah, they would just scan and start looking at which cheetah they have found. It's amazing. So James, you were asking about how if the tracks are larger, how much larger are they than females? Very good question. Males can weigh a few kilograms more than females. I could probably say up to 15 kilograms most likely. Remember, they are very skinny and slender-built animals, so I do struggle a lot to determine if it's male or female at specific times, to be very honest. When you do pick up spoor of cheetah that's moved through the area and you find 2 large tracks very similar, or 3 even, similar in size, it could possibly be a collision. Then you would automatically assume that it could be males, or unless it's a female with her almost adult cubs strolling and patrolling and looking for some food. Hi Caroline, you asked whether cheetahs take the kill up into a tree, and the answer is no. They don't do that, and that's mainly due to the fact that, again, cheetah don't have retractable claws, all right? This makes it very difficult for them to climb trees. Now, that said, they do sometimes get up to specific trees when they choose their scent mark trees. Scent mark trees can normally be at a slight angle where they can climb up and scent mark on that spot. But I've never heard of cheetah actually taking up a kill into a large tree, for example. You know, they could be if it's like that, slightly bent, maybe. But what you must remember with cheetah is that they are so low ranked in the predator aspect. So when they do hunt, they eat and run. It's like a takeaway, really. They need to be sure that there's no other predators. So what we've observed over the years is once they've killed, they're so out of breath, they're exhausted, like because their lungs has just increased so much. And then they would try as fast as possible to take this kill and move it towards a tree line or any bushes to hide it away from vultures, for example. Because vultures will attract lions, and lions would then follow the vultures. So the point of the story is they'll first start at the bum. The bum has got the most nutritious meat quality, and then once they finish with the bum, they would rest, and then they would again constantly check and see if they've got enough time. And if they see that there's no other predators coming, then obviously they'll stay a bit longer. I've seen as well many times previously where cheetahs are, when they have taken a kill, eat, and then chased off quickly. All right. And that can also mean they can be chased off as well from quite interesting baboons at times. We've seen some baboons on previous drives. The big males can chase cheetahs off their kill. Shows you how low ranked these guys are. Hey? I believe Tristan has got some interesting thing to show you again on his bushwalk. So we'll be cutting towards Tristan's side, and I hope you guys enjoy it. What is also important to remember is that these jackals, they'll eat anything from birds' eggs to lizards to ground living birds. So the diet is just amazing from these guys, these jackals. And that's why I think also they're such successful breeders, because they can adapt very quickly. It seems like something's caught one of these males' attention, or maybe he's just looking up, making sure that nothing is around him. We just got a very, very amazing question from Lauren. So thank you so much for that question. I tend to enjoy it. It's one of those little well thought of questions. Lauren wanted to find out if cheetahs are, when they're at full speed, if they are more airborne than what they're actually touching the surface while they're running. And you are 100% correct there. Their strides are so big, or so long, sorry, that when their feet actually touches the soil, compared to that split millisecond or second to the time that they're jumping or leaping forwards in the chase of whatever they are going after, I think it's about probably 2 or 3 seconds longer when they're in the air. So that is a very good question. Thank you for that one. Janice from Seattle, thank you for watching. You were wondering how many meters can a cheetah cover when it's doing one stride whilst running. It really does depend on whether it's a male or female, but it has been recorded up to about 3 to 3.5, even 4 meters. I don't know what that is in yards. Unfortunately, sorry, I'm not too clued up on that, but it's about 3 to 4 meters. So almost double, over a double of their body weight, or their length, sorry, not body weight, their length of the body. And if you go now from where the bum starts of this male, from the back before the tail, so the tail's not included, to with the shoulders, you'd be looking at just about 1 meter in length. So they can do probably about 2 or 3 times their own length. Very good questions. You oaks are feeding me. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So the plan is that we will be spending a little bit more time and then head off for some hopefully well-deserved breakfast. I really hope you've all enjoyed your time with myself on my interview drive. So from my side, thank you very much. The questions were phenomenal. I had a really good time with all of you. And Dave also, we were talking earlier, he was like, this has been great, just chilling out, relaxing, and enjoying the sighting.
Well done, Marnus.
Thanks you, buddy. So we're going to be cutting towards Tristan, and hopefully see you guys soon. Thank you.